The Dark Lady. With Helfi gone, and the rest of you at a loss as to what just occurred, you decide to leave the Earth Temple and find a safe place to rest in the ruins of Tabaxi, just in case Helfi tries to attack again. During your rest, you talk and try to reason the events of what just happened. Jadago is uncharacteristically quiet, but the main thrust of your conversation is what to do when you eventually cross paths with Helfi again. You debate whether to continue cleansing the Earth Temple of cultists whilst a woman down, or whether to find out where Helfi is heading. After many hours, you decide on the latter and fall into a fitful sleep where nothing is quite what it seems. After a few hours, you wake in the dreary darkness, not knowing what time of day it really is. You head away from the Earth Temple and into the depths of Tabaxi, finally emerging into the Water Temple after many hours. You move stealthily through the complex despite having cleared it days earlier, and pick up evidence of replacement cultists already moving in. Not wanting to tarry and give Helfi any more of a lead, you head west into more of Tabaxi's ruined caverns before reaching the Air Temple after another rest. This time you encounter rogue cultists that have lingered in the complex and deal with them with ruthless efficiency. Your single-mindedness to locate Helfi has gifted you all a frightening efficiency, and your foes lie in pools of blood before you, before they knew what hit them. Not even taking the time to search them, you head on and reach the surface of the Sighing Valley in the evening of a spring day. During your travels, you had a growing anxiety about whether the Null incursion had grown in your absence, and it is clear from the desolation in the valley that this is the case. Evidence of locust-like behaviour is everywhere, and you believe you need to get to Feathergale Spire quickly, or you could end up on the Flynn's menu. Leilune casts a Skywrite spell and messages the Aarakocra at the spire to bring their mounted steeds, hoping they will arrive quickly. There is an awful period of waiting, during which you spot encroaching gnolls here and there, and it is clear they are gearing up for a confrontation, when in the blue sky you notice the Aarakocra and your steeds approaching. They arrive amidst the sporadic loosing of arrows, allowing you to mount up and leave before any real threat is made. From the sky you can see how the Null desolation has grown, and resolve to do something about it as soon as possible, given the number of gnolls is also growing. Arriving at Feathergale Spire, Salik is there to meet you, and let you know that Lady Helfi arrived a day earlier and has locked herself inside one of the stables. You spend some time trying to encourage Helfi to engage with you before she finally begins to yell incoherently about the weapon that speaks to me. You learn that Helfi believes Leilune's spear, Windvane, is cursed and communicating with her, and that it drove her mad and made her attack the waifish human. She says she is afraid you won't believe her and had to leave and seek refuge here at the spire just to get away from the weapon. The rest of you are sceptical, but there is an element of plausibility in Helfi's pleas and explanations. You jointly decide to help the noblewoman rather than abandon her and encourage her to leave the stable and rejoin the party. This she does, and she apologises for the chaos she has caused, especially to Leilune. Leilune listens, but a part of her is completely mistrusting of the fallen Aasimar, a sentiment shared but unspoken by the rest of you. Regardless, you retire to the Garden of the Spire to discuss the Gnoll threat, with Salik letting you know that if it continues unchallenged, then it may spill out of the Sighing Valley and further across the Somber Hills. You agree that something must be done, but the sheer number of the Horde makes it difficult to assume your survival. You decide that you may need to rally support from your allies, and Helfi suggests a trip to Waterdeep, given its proximity and interest in the area. You set off the next day on rested steeds, approaching Rundreth Manor in the afternoon. Your interest in the place is piqued once more, and you dive to a lower altitude to scout out the place again. Almost immediately, as you get close to the place, Quirky feels a warming sensation from the dragonbone sword found in the water temple. With evidence that a dragon is in residence somewhere near the manor, you take the foolhardy step of landing in order to see if you may gain its help in dealing with the Gnoll horde. Finding an opening into an undercroft, you descend into the gloom, into a chamber 70 feet wide and 100 feet long. The room is littered with rotten remnants of long trestle tables fitted with sinks and littered with rusted out metal platters, carry bowls and tureens. Its ceiling is a magnificent series of vaulted arches that crisscross to hold up a stone block ceiling, pierced in many places by the hanging roots of trees growing above. Suddenly, a female drow shimmers in appearance about 20 feet ahead of you. With haughty aplomb and total lack of fear, she challenges you to explain your presence. You believe this drow to be the Dark Lady you heard tell of in Amphail just weeks before, and are extremely cautious, believing her to be some kind of glamour belonging to whatever dragonkind resides here. The conversation continues with you explaining your plight, conveying that the plight is also the Dark Lady's. You eloquently explain that, due to the nature of gnolls, the Desserin Valley would not be a fruitful hunting ground. The Dark Lady, who has given her name as Novarim, had played down the problem as not being hers until this point is made. That said, she wants to know more about your business before she engages in any kind of deal. You tell her of your recent endeavours, about the incursion by elemental cultists into the ruins of Tyre Bessel, and their allegiance with the elemental eye. As you relay this, you can't help but notice that Novarim's gaze lingers too long upon Helfi, as if some kind of respectful recognition is occurring. The Dark Lady suddenly laughs and tells you that she has already dealt with cultists trying to recruit her, evidence of which is decomposing around the grounds of Rundriff Manor. You appreciate that she does not hold with their perverse views, and ask if she knows any more about the elemental cults, and she reveals the following. The cults are here because of an ancient drow shrine to the Elder Elemental Eye, which lies underneath Tyre Bessel, one of the last dwarven strongholds of fallen Besselnir. All the cults fear the Elder Elemental Eye. Its symbol looks like a vertical eye set within an inverted ziggurat. Centuries ago, a drow named Vizeran Devere used the power of the shrine to make 4 elemental weapons, one each of air, water, earth and fire. Each weapon is connected to an extraplanar prince of elemental evil. These weapons can open or close a portal to the inner plane of that element. It is the plan of each cult to bring their respective princes into Faerun and gain the power to tear down everything: morals, social structures, governments, the laws of nature, and reduce existence to a more elemental state, tainted with conflict and madness. The Elder Elemental Eye uses mortal servants as a means to this end, and Novarim states that whilst she has nothing against the destruction of lawful establishments, she is far from enthusiastic about her home being turned into some primordial state. Novarim then proceeds to let you know the identity of each prophet, which is extremely valuable information. There is Marlos Ernrail, a Medusa, who leads the Black Earth cult and wields a war pick called Iron Fang. Gar Shatterkeel, a human sailor from the Lanantha Isles, who wields a trident called Drown. Vanafa, a tiefling from Calamport, who wields a dagger called Tinderstrike. And Erisi Kalanoth, a moon elf from Fairy, who used to wield a spear called Windvane, but which is now wielded by Leilune. Novarim seems amused by this and tells you that the prophets are likely mad and uncompromising, asking of Leilune whether she is now the same. Leilune doesn't answer, but does wonder about her recent mercurial behaviour. Turning to your immediate request, Novarim falls silent for a moment, then states that she will do you a deal. She will destroy the Flind in the Sighing Valley if you agree to leave her to her own devices and never seek or encourage others to seek her demise. You agree, but she states that to seal her trust of you, you must remain in her lair whilst she travels to destroy the Flind. She states that she will know if one thing has been touched, and that she will tear you apart should anything be amiss. If she can trust you with this, then she can trust you with the deal. Again, you agree, and watch as the Dark Lady flickers out, and a sudden rush of wind encompasses the entire area as something very large and very dark flies out of an adjoining chamber, through some secret way and into the night sky. You take the opportunity to rest in a cavern built out of the undercroft, and none of you feel like backing out of your agreement and seeking out Nervarim's horde. You wake in the morning to find a large dark dragon that seems to be enveloped in wispy shadow, staring intently at you as you rise. Appreciating Nervarim's draconic majesty, you learn that she did indeed destroy the Flind, and a great many gnolls. A few arrow stalks stick out of her here and there, and she plumes these out of her as she converses with you. She reminds you of your deal, and acknowledges that you have kept your side of the bargain before you bid each other farewell, whilst you hope that your steeds are alive and well on the surface. Emerging into the light, you learn they are fine, and waste no more time mounting up and heading back north to the Sighing Valley. You reach it in a few hours, and see the necrotic destruction wrought by Nervarim, who is clearly a deadly foe. After a quick stop at the spire, for more rest and contemplation of your next steps, you agree to return to the Earth Temple to deal with the cult. You argue the benefits of reaching the temple via the Sacred Stone Monastery, but decides to go the long way, through the two previously destroyed temples, so as to gain the ground on one side of the chasm and plan your next move. After 2 nights of travel through the ruins of Tabaxi, if you can call them that in such a dark place, you reach the Earth Temple once more and plan how you will defeat yet another cult of the Elder Elemental Eye. Thank you for listening to the progress of my Dungeons & Dragons group as they make their way through the Princes of the Apocalypse campaign setting. Watch out for further episodes where we shall see the party confront the Black Earth cult in their mission to rid the valley of the influence of the Elder Elemental Eye.